Well, I got through about half of this video before realizing that I wasn't wearing any mascara. Okay. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Ashley and today we're going to be doing the first update in my Pan That palette for 2021. If you did not catch my intro video, I did decide to join the Pantastic Ladies in their 2021 Pan That palette, which has the theme of tiny pans. As soon as I saw all of these intro videos going up on the 1st of January, I knew that I had the perfect palette for this and that I wanted to get in on it. So I immediately filmed my intro as well so that I could make sure to get it up and we could start working on this little baby right here. And it is a baby. Now, before we get into the update, I do definitely want to credit the Pantastic Ladies for coming up with this project. If you're unfamiliar with the Pantastic Ladies, they are a Facebook group. Well, I always say that, and that is where they originated as far as I'm aware, but they are so much more than a Facebook group. They have just proliferated everywhere. They are on Facebook, they are on Instagram, they're here on YouTube. They are everywhere stitched into the fabric of the panning community, and they are so creative and come up with such neat and fun ideas. It's a beautiful community that I would definitely recommend checking out, regardless of your social media platform, but they did originate on Facebook, and you can certainly join them from there. I am now going to start calling myself an unofficial member of the Pantastic Ladies. I'm not on Facebook, so I am not technically a member, but I think at this point, I'm just going to call myself an unofficial member. I hope that that is okay with everyone out there. So this is my Pan That palette for 2021. This is the Sleek Cosmetics When the Sun Goes Down palette. I picked this up from Target a couple of years ago when I was on travel for the job that I had at the time. And I had assumed that this little guy right here, it was like $5-ish, that it was a 6-pan sort of sampler palette of the original palette, because the original palette was one that you could pick up on Ulta, for example, and it was a 12-pan palette. So I thought, you know what, this is a great way to try the brand out. There had been a lot of people talking about one of the highlighter quads, the Solstice something or other, and I was so interested to try that, but it had a cream highlighter in it, and I knew that I wasn't keen on that, and some of the colors were ones that I didn't feel super comfortable with, but I did want to try out the brand. So when I saw this at Target, I was like, you know what, that's perfect, and it's pretty inexpensive. Bought it, got back to my hotel room, and this is what we had. The tiniest eyeshadow pans ever. All 12 shades are in here. They're just tiny. Like, they're not even the size of a dime. They are tiny. So when I saw this project, I was like, this is the palette that we're gonna do. And I have tried to pan that palette before. I'm notoriously bad at it. It's not my particular project strength, but I thought, you know what, this year we're gonna change all that. So I did start this off at the beginning of January, and I have kept track of all of my usages. I have used every shadow in this palette with the exception of one, and it's the one shadow that I know I had used previously. So let's go ahead and take a look. I'm gonna zoom back in so that you can see what we're looking like now. I'm not going to bother with a before picture because, I mean, it was a brand new palette. But as you can see, I have humongous pan in one of these eyeshadows. Now, this is just a matte cream color, so I use it every single day to set down my eyeshadow base. So it's of no surprise to me at all that I have pan on this, and to be quite honest with you, I fully expect to be finished with this shadow by our next update, which is very exciting. However, it's gonna be a little bit longer than I think that I was hoping for with this palette. I've come to a couple of conclusions about this palette. So first and foremost, there are only 2 mattes in this palette, and that is the one that I have hit pan on, and then this one right here. Now, all of these shadows are actually quite dark, with the exception of the of 3 very, very light shadows. So there's not a lot of tonal variety in this palette. And that's unfortunate because I think that the shadows themselves independently are quite pretty. But it's just hard to build looks with the palette itself with only one matte that is kind of, let me see if I can get a swatch of it. It's kind of this brown, gray, green sort of situation. Yeah, I can't really get a good swatch of it because the pan is so small. The best I can do is get it on my finger, I think. Yeah, it just dusts away. Let me try and build it up a little bit. But it really severely limits the type of look that I can build if I just want to use this palette as a standalone. So what that means is that I'm going to be using it a lot in conjunction with other things, which is fine. I'm totally fine with using it as a companion palette, but that does mean that I'm going to be working through it more slowly than I would be if I could use it as a true standalone palette for a large variety of looks. I hope that that makes sense. Now I have, as I said, used all of these shadows a variety of times. So I think what I'll do is I will insert a photo here that has a close-up of the palette, and I'll put numbers on top of each of the shadows so that you can see how many times I've used them, rather than me just kind of pointing through it, because I don't know how interesting that is for you. I don't think, at least, that I really have any photos of me wearing this palette alone, because again, it's hard to build looks that have variety to them, and they do turn out to be quite dark when I do, because this shade here is the only thing that I can use in my crease. So I have to take a really light hand with it. I feel like I'm complaining, and I'm not. I'm just telling you what's going on with the palette. But there are some really, really stunning shades in here for sure. So these two, let's see, how am I going to do this without the mirror? So these two shadows, this one right, just kidding, this one right here, and then this one right here, are such bright, beautiful, metallic, foiled gorgeousness. I really, really enjoy them a lot. I've used them a ton on the inner corners. They are creamy and soft and just really, really nice. So I am very much enjoying that. I don't know if that's... See, they are super light, but they're really, really reflective. So those are really just stunning, stunning. There is a lot of gray and purple in here, but there is kind of a metallic-ish green. Let's see if I can get good swatches of these. So even though there are two that are very similar kind of shades of green, just different depths, and have a little bit of gold in them. Sorry, those are not great swatches. So yeah, I'm enjoying using it, but like I said, it's gonna take some time. I do find though, one thing that I do enjoy this palette for are sort of one and done shadow looks that are very, very easy to wear throughout the week. So I will take, for instance, one of these kind of goldy colors. So the two that I just showed you, one that's more of a green and one that's more of a bronze. I don't know if that was useful at all, sorry. And I will just buff them all over the lid and a little bit out into the crease, and then take something from another palette that's a little bit lighter just to blend out a little bit as well. Pop one of those super metallic shades on the inner corners, and it makes a really, really beautiful look. So I do find myself using this palette a lot. I just think that the progress is going to be a little bit slower than I had anticipated. Now, because I am a truly crazy person, I decided I wanted to add something to this project, because when I really took a look at my collection, I found a lot of really tiny products, and I think part of that is because I was also filming and editing at the time my inventory, and so I had that lens already on, and I saw so many things that were also a very small size. So I'm adding a new tiny product into my tiny pans, and that is this little tiny lip product right here. How cute are we? It's from Bobbi Brown. Here we go. So this is the Crushed Liquid Lip in the shade Smoothie Move. It is 0.07 fluid ounces or 2 mils. So I think I want to try to finish this guy up. Am I already working on lip products and other projects? I am. Am I notoriously bad at using lip products? I am. Do I really love a good theme? Yeah, I do. So I am wearing it today for the first time. It's very comfortable. I think the color is really, really pretty. I think it's very appropriate for this time of year, but I think it will also transition to spring really nicely. So I'm really excited to give that a go and really see. I'm gonna track progress on it, obviously, but I'm curious to know how many uses are in this itty bitty guy right here, because I don't know, I find that interesting. How are you doing on your project if you're working on the Tiny Pans project, or if you're doing a Pan That palette in general? How was your first month in the project? I hope it was very successful. If you've enjoyed this video, I hope that you will give it a thumbs up, and if you have not yet already subscribed, I hope that you will do so before you leave. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I hope that you're having an amazing day, and I will see you next time. Bye.